I need to figure out what my next video should be for people to watch. Maybe I should upload another Demon Slayer video and call it a day. Or I could start a new series and hope for the best. Nah. But what should I do? Well, I might as well ask someone else who can help me figure this out. Yo, what should
Storm
I...
4.
But you didn't even
Don't
let me...
care. Just do Storm 4.
Okay, but what if...
Just make the review already, dude.
Guess I'm making a review on Storm 4. Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the 4th installment of Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Reviews, where I come to you with a brief summary of the games that I've played so far. Man, this series had some gems, huh? Seeing how far the creators have come from creating Storm 1 all the way to 4 will always amaze me. It's because it's become an entirely different game in comparison to the older creations. It's a good thing 62 changed up their formula, because I don't know how I'd feel playing Storm 1 mechanics in Storm 4. Well, maybe they brought back jutsu clashes, or even wall running for online matches. Or maybe even, okay, I'll admit, I do miss some of the older stuff. However, Storm 4 was definitely a fun experience to try out. And here I am to share my experience with you guys. If you watched my reviews before, then you already know what's coming up next. First, let's talk about Let me quickly take you down memory lane before we get to Storm 4. Remember in Storm 1 when you were able to roam around the Hidden Leaf Village and freely run all over the place seeing your fellow teammates, friends, and teachers? Or in Storm 2 and 3 when they completely changed the free roam system, having set camera angles as you ran around different areas of the map during the story? Well, this time around, Storm 4 has separated free roam from the main story and has you play adventure mode, which takes place after the war. I'm not too disappointed at the fact that we couldn't free roam during the story because, well, we're in the middle of a war. Where the hell are we supposed to roam if we're at war? Being able to play adventure mode was, to say the least, an interesting experience. If you bought the DLC, not only did you get the chance to play as Naruto, but you get to play as 2 additional characters, Shikamaru and Gaara. This time around, you were unable to actually leave areas that you visited without fast traveling everywhere, meaning you can no longer run around the forest to go from one village to another. I know I used to complain about how much time it would take to roam around, but in Storm 3, they added a fast travel system that prevented that from happening. So now since that's all that's available, it almost feels like a major piece is missing from the game. However, the developers did do something that took them 2 games for them to finally realize they needed to get rid of this feature. And what's that, you might ask? They got rid of set camera angles in the Hidden Leaf Village, baby. Look at my man Naruto front and back. Look at the drip. Look at the stance. Look at that ass. Whoa. Pause. Got a little too excited. My fault. It's nice that we now have the freedom to look around like we once did in Storm 1. However, it's honestly not the same. You can't exactly run around like you once could, and the village doesn't feel lively like Storm 2 and 3. And you can't even jump around. Like, what's up with that? Another thing to add is that all the other villages from the previous games were the exact same, so they still had their set camera angles. Yay. They were so close yet so far from making the open world perfect, but it was just a major disappointment. But hey, we still got ramen. Man, but who cares about that? I'm trying to throw some hands. You know, we've come so far from jutsu clashes just to have them taken away. Instant awakenings, just to have them taken away. And even wall running, just for it to only be exclusive to the story. It was a bit disappointing to find out a lot of the old features haven't returned to the game, but that doesn't mean the game was automatically bad. This time around, 62 introduced a brand new system where you can now change characters mid-match, which now changed the way people played the game completely. With this new mechanic, you can do a lot more combos when fighting your opponents through simply switching characters. What's that? Your opponent wants to use a substitute? I can just switch into another character and chase you down. One thing that was reintroduced to Storm 4 was Team Ultimate Jutsus, which allowed the player to do a special attack with specific characters added to their team. I'd be lying if I said Storm 4 wasn't the best looking game, because when you look at a lot of the animations from the gameplay itself, you can tell how much care and effort was put into its creation. If they were to have added some of the older features into the game, I think it would have been near perfect. But for what it's worth, I love the game that they gave us. When I say I've never seen something so big, so massive, so gigantic.
What?
I'm referring to the roster. What were you thinking? Nah. What were you thinking? I mean, look at this roster. The pages are endless, with a whole lot of characters and costumes. This is without a doubt the largest roster in the series, and I'm not complaining. You can literally play as everyone from the previous games, which also includes all the Part 1 characters, the Sound 4 ninjas, and with the addition of Boruto characters as well. They even have Mecha Naruto. Huh. They're really letting anyone in this game now, huh? Depending on the character you choose, you get the chance to experience their unique playstyle. For example, if you play as Mifune, you're able to play in the style of a samurai as you slice and dice your opponents. I always enjoy landing his jutsu because of how satisfying the animation was. Or you can play as someone like Kakashi for the different varieties of jutsu he's copied over the years that he has added to his playstyle. And also you could play as... Yeah, I'm not going to say anything about her. Or you could... How did that get there? Let's just move on, okay? One thing I found strange was how the developers decided to give every Uchiha perfect Susanoo because... Okay, am I right? It's just funny seeing Shisui and Itachi run around in their what-if perfect Susanoo forms. And the thing is, awakening into those forms is more of a disadvantage than anything. You're just a bigger target. If you want to be able to awaken and be annoying, just main Minato. Yeah, because we love Minato mains on this channel. Gotta love how a lot of them spam their jutsu non-stop without a care in the world. I'm being sarcastic. Fuck Minato players. Unless if you're a subscriber. Actually, nah. Fuck you too. Thanks for the sub. So, I honestly have mixed feelings about this one. From one end, the game did an excellent job concluding the series and creating emotions for a lot of the scenes. But on the other end, they gave us a lot of slideshows.
Boy, ain't no way, boy.
I was so confused as to why at some points I was looking at CC2 at its best, just to go back to Ben's PowerPoint. The story essentially picks up after Storm 3 during the 4th Great Ninja War, which, if we all remember, had an original ending for the game since the manga wasn't finished yet. And who could forget the Tail Beast fights? Haha. This time around, we get the backstory for so many characters, like the rivalry between Madara and Hashirama, the supposed death of Obito, and the rise of his hatred toward the ninja world. And also the story of Indra and Ashura. I really enjoyed getting reminded on a lot of the things that happened in the anime, and the visuals went so well with it. I don't know why, but I absolutely love the facial expressions the developers added in some of the cutscenes. Like the fight between Madara and Hashirama. Some of my favorite parts from the story are when Might Guy opens his 8th gate and goes insane on Madara, when Kakashi had his battle with Obito in the Kamui dimension, and who could possibly forget the fight between Naruto and Sasuke at the final valley. The amount of emotion that carried each scene was so well done, with the animation style, and the music that honestly was so sad at times to relive.
Rest in peace, Neji.
I also love the quick time events in this game, as I believe this was definitely my favorite Storm game to doing them. And I'd honestly say had some fun boss battles that rival Storm 2. It was fun playing as Hashirama fighting against Madara and the Ninetales, especially since you could shoot at them from a distance. In comparison to Storm 3's boss fights, they toned down a lot, which I'm glad was the case, but it wasn't as challenging as I hoped. Regardless though, the story for Storm 4 was a beautiful conclusion to the series, and it's so easy to tell that it was the highest developed game. Maybe if they had extra money they could have improved on some of the cutscenes, but hey, it is what it is. Oh, you thought I was going to end this review without talking about the Boruto expansion pack? Nah, I couldn't do that. What this expansion pack did was essentially retell the story behind the movie Boruto, and with high quality, might I add. There were so many cutscenes during my gameplay that had me beyond amazed due to how much detail was added, and surprisingly, at times better than the normal story. Scenes like Naruto protecting Boruto from Momoshiki's attack during the Chunin exams, to later assisting him to get the final attack with a father-son Rasengan? Where have I seen this before? Besides the story, the game did allow you to explore the village as you made progress, which was a nice feature, until you realize that it's just a reskin and you honestly can't do that much exploration. It's been a rough time for free roam players. I do wish that they made more characters available, even though the roster was big as it was, I just wanted to try out adult Konohamaru, or even Shikamaru's son at least once. This was a very solid DLC, and it was great to see that they added newer characters like Momoshiki and Kinshiki later. And who knows, maybe we'll get another DLC pack in the future for Baryon Mode Naruto or even Kawaki. Now then, the time has finally come. Here are my Now here we are, on the final thoughts on Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 and the series as a whole. Because Storm 4 was the first game that I owned from the series, I spent most of my hours grinding everything out when it first dropped. In comparison to the other Storm games, I would have to say this one was the most polished and the best looking game so far. Seeing how CC2 went from Storm 1's gameplay to Storm 4, you can see a lot has changed. Some being hits and others being major misses. They most definitely could have worked on adventure mode to prevent it from what it became. And we can't forget about some of the lazy cutscenes as well. But if I were to rank the Storm games, I think this is how it would go. For 4th place, I'd probably give it to Storm 1. I know, big surprise. For 3rd place, I'd probably give it to Storm 2 because they essentially fixed everything from the first game, but wasn't quite complete yet. However, the story and the boss fights were some of my favorites that I've played so far from the series. For 2nd place, I would have to give it to Storm 3. The reason being is because of the brand new game mechanics, alongside with a much bigger roster, and even a great soundtrack. 1st place, however, would have to go to Storm 4. I'd 100% recommend you playing this game, not only because it's the best Storm game, but it's also one of the best anime games as well. How accurate would you say my ranking was? Do you agree with the order I put the games in? And also, have you played any of the other Storm games before? If so, let me know your thoughts. With that being said, I guess I'm done with this series. Well, maybe. Please make sure to leave a comment, share with your friends, like, and subscribe to the channel. And make sure to stay tuned for the next video. Take care.